Lidia Thorpe has broken down as she explosively recounted the moment she was allegedly sexually assaulted in the halls of Parliament House.
There are different understandings of what amounts to sexual assault. What I experienced was being followed, aggressively propositioned and inappropriately touched.
Yesterday, Thorpe used her parliamentary privilege to accuse her Liberal counterpart, David Van, of sexually harassing and assaulting her. Hours later, she withdrew the allegation, citing Senate rules. Van vehemently denies the accusation. He's since been suspended from the party room as more allegations emerge.
Senator Thorpe's allegations are concocted from beginning to end. Nothing that she has alleged about me is truthful.
I advise Senator Van of my decision that he should no longer sit in the Liberal party room. At the outset, I want to make very clear that I'm not making any judgment on the veracity of allegations or any individual's guilt or innocence.
Amy Remeikis has been following these allegations closely. Joins us now from Parliament House. Amy, it just keeps happening. In the last half hour, we've heard more on the further allegations that Peter Dutton seemed to be referring to there against David Van. What can you tell us about that?
Former Liberal Senator Amanda Stoker has alleged that in November 2020, Senator David Van had inappropriately touched her twice on the bottom. She says that she addressed it privately at the time and that she did not want to come forward as she did not want it playing out in the public sphere. But after hearing Lidia Thorpe's allegations, she felt it right that she come forward. And we believe that that is the further allegation that Peter Dutton was made aware of. And again, there is no proof to these allegations. These are just what people are saying. David Van is yet to respond, but Amanda Stoker has publicly said that.
Amy, David Van has said he'd like for Lidia Thorpe to go to the police. She says she won't. So what happens now?
Well, it's everybody's choice whether or not they go to the police. There's further complications here for how Indigenous people feel with their treatment with the police, and also whether it would even meet any sort of standard for a criminal prosecution, which is very different to whether or not something happened. Whether it meets the criminal bar or not is something completely different. What happens now is that it will be investigated by basically a Parliament Safety Committee, but we're not going to find out anything about that. It is entirely confidential. So even though people may speak about it and say that a matter has been referred, it is now all confidential, and we don't really find out what happens unless someone decides to make it public.
So, Amy, what does this all mean then for Van's political career?
Well, he'll no longer sit in the Liberal party room, but he will continue to be a senator. And at the next time he is up for election, he can put himself forward for election as an independent senator. We've seen it happen quite a few times where people have left the party room and sat as an independent. Lidia Thorpe, indeed, herself was elected as a Greens MP and now sits as an independent. And it looks like David Van will also be sitting on the crossbench in the Senate.
Lidia Thorpe also said today in her speech that Parliament House is a dangerous place for women to work. You're there every day, is it?
Look, it's really hard to answer because everyone's situations are different, but I can tell you that the feeling in this building is really gross and toxic at the moment, and has been all week. I think people thought with the Set the Standard report and the Kate Jenkins inquiry into everything that happened after Brittany Higgins raised her allegations that things would get better. And I think this week has shown a lot of people that no, nothing is going to change until our politics does. And it doesn't seem like politics is going to change anytime soon, which is really depressing. And as a sexual assault survivor myself, it's been really hard coming to work again in this building, seeing the discourse, seeing the attitudes and seeing what is happening. And I just hope that everyone who has been impacted by this and affected by this has a safe place and is really taking care of themselves.
Well, sorry to hear that, Amy. Your reflections from your own circumstances, but also I think just generally, yeah, they're fairly bracing words. Thanks for sharing them, and thanks for bringing us up to speed on this story. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course, if that story has raised any issues for you or someone you know, please contact Counselling Service 1800 RESPECT.